Let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Executive National Vice President Dina Wilkinson, and I want to welcome you to our training tonight. You know, it's my pleasure to welcome on so many nations with us. First of all, I want to welcome on all of our upline, Phoebe Fournier. She's all of our upline, and I want to welcome on her nation. I want to welcome on all of my nation, and I want to welcome on all of our nations. I want to welcome on Barb Armstrong's nation, and Susan Evans' nation, and Laura Harry's nation, and Lynn's nation, and the Dina Wilkinson, everyone in the Dina Wilkinson nation, and everyone who's in my executive nation. I just want to welcome you all onto our training tonight on focus. And why is focus so important? I want to tell you why focus is so important. Because focus is the key skill to igniting and building momentum. Absolutely. You've got to have this crucial skill if you want to build your business. Focus is a skill that can become a habit. You know, it's interesting because you need to learn it. It's a skill that you can develop, but it requires a person to have a clear purpose. And when you have a clear purpose, you're going to make progress on even the roughest road. But a person with no purpose will make no progress, even if it's the smoothest road. So it's a skill that can become a habit with practice and control, but we live in a world full of distractions today and interruptions. So you've got to remain focused on your key priorities if you're going to accomplish your goals. So it requires intensity, discipline, and commitment. You know, you've got to think more about what you're doing. You know, it was interesting, but they had a dinner between Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And they asked them if they could think of what had made them successful. And they thought about it for a minute, and they both said at the same time, it was the ability to focus. And that focus was absolutely the clear-cut skill that they had learned to develop. And it was the most crucial thing that had made them both incredibly successful in their life, was the skill of focus. So focus is not just something you have, it's something you do. So it's both a noun and it's a verb. So it means that you value your time and you treat it like it is incredibly valuable. So you've got to limit your external distractions. You know, it's easier than ever to become overwhelmed by our distractions today. So if you're going to focus and get more done, you've got to control your own environment. You've got to set parameters in place to prevent people from distracting you, and not just letting time pass. Because, boy, you know, you can look up and the day has gone. You can look up and a week is gone. You can look up and a month is gone, and a year has gone. And you can look up and you've gotten nothing done. So going from distraction to distraction and the passing of time, that's painful. So you've got to decide, because electronic devices, they can absolutely distract us. We can look at all of those and just see how distracted we can get. So you've got to decide. We also have internal distractions. And you've got to ask yourself, am I going to let myself get sucked into drama and emotion? And I want to have you stop right there for a minute and talk to you a little bit about it. Right, I said Jordan Alder right there. You know, Jordan Alder is the author of Beach Money. And if you've ever read that book, Jordan Alder was an absolute failure in 11 different network marketing companies before he went with his current one. And with his current one, he's one of the top income earners in the entire world of network marketing. And he said one of the most key skills, if you're going to be $1 million earner in the world of network marketing today, is you've got to learn to control your emotions, and you've got to develop the skill to absolutely change your emotional state in a second. So if you've just all of a sudden been handed an incredible dose of disappointment, you've got to learn how to change your emotional state in a second. So before he was getting ready to go on to the biggest stage in the world of network marketing professionals, he was told right before he was going to go on that his father was right then at that moment ready to pass away. So he had to make the decision, am I going to live in my emotions, or am I going to change my emotional state right now and go out there and absolutely give these people focused energy to make this presentation the best presentation I've ever given. So you've got to decide on the internal distractions in your life. Are you going to live in your emotions? Are you going to decide that you're not going to be a drama queen or a drama king? Are you going to believe that you're a great multitasker? You will never be able to accomplish as much with 5 or 6 projects open on your computer simultaneously as you will if you will batch them and work on one task at a time. So here's the myth of multitasking. It is an internal distraction that it's going to keep you from being as productive as you could be. You know, they have proven it in study after study after study. They've had people stand behind people in cubicles and watch them day after day after day and take notes and watch how long it is before they get distracted. And it's 11 minutes. They only have 11 minutes of focused time in their job before they get distracted. And do you know that it takes you 25 minutes to get back on task? So how productive can you be when you let yourself get distracted? It's so easy to get overwhelmed because a lot of times we feel like we have to be perfectionists, I should say. And it's a challenge with overachievers. When you put the burden of perfection upon yourself, you're going to stress yourself out with that emotional discordance between who you believe you are and what you actually do. So to achieve more, you must silence the feeling of being overwhelmed and actually focus on what you need to do. And that is why focus is such a skill. But you can train and learn how to silence those emotions and feelings for periods of time so you can focus and work and get things done. So you've got to work at it, and that's the challenge that you have to face. So to achieve more, you've got to silence the feelings of being overwhelmed. So focus is a skill. Productivity is the deliberate, strategic investment of your time, talent, intelligence, energy, resources, and opportunities in a manner calculated to move you measurably closer to meaningful goals. So you've got to prioritize what you're going to work on. And to be productive, whatever you're doing, it's got to move you towards your goals. You know, I've worked with some incredible people. I've worked with amazing coaches in this industry. I've worked with amazing people in the world of network marketing. And I have learned so much from them about how to schedule your time, how to work your time, how to work your business. I've learned so many incredible things from them. And you have to change the way you look at your time and what you do in each day to be successful at what you're doing. So I want to give you 6 strategies that you can use to stay on track and get more done. So let's go through that. The first one is that you have to understand what it takes to be productive. Because you've got to control yourself, you've got to control your environment, you've got to control others, meaning you've got to control who you're letting in to your day. You've got to control not only people who affect you emotionally, but who are time wasters of your day. And then you've got to decide what you're going to allow yourself to work on. So you've got to clearly define what it is that you want and make sure that every activity that you do moves you closer to that goal. You know, it was interesting because Jim Rohn was once asked why more people don't become millionaires. And his answer was very interesting. He said the reason more people don't become millionaires is because they don't have enough reasons to. So do you have enough reasons to keep you focused and productive? Or do you allow yourself to get easily distracted from the things that you do that create income for your business? What this really means is that you have to control yourself, and many people really have a challenge with this. So you've got to understand what it is that takes to be productive, what it takes. You've got to learn to eliminate distractions that prevent you from accomplishing tasks. And you may need to remove yourself from your office or your home. You know, sometimes you've got to go out and get in the car to get your calls made and talk to people, go out and get it done. I used to run as fast as I could from room to room to be able to talk to people on the phone to outrun my 3-year-old so I could sound professional when I was doing my Arbonne business when I had small children. So if you need to go to a Starbucks, if you need to go, to a Barnes & Noble to get some quiet time, to get away from people, do what you have to do to have the right environment to get things done. But you have to discipline yourself to unplug your cell phone. Now, this is where the coach in me is coming in, because I'm going to say some tough things to you. And I hope that you're going to put your ego out of the way and you're going to listen to what I'm going to be telling you in the next few minutes. Because you've got to turn off your notifications, your text updates, your phone calls to really get the things done that you need to have done. You know, I built a website last summer, and for 3 months, I stayed in my pajamas. I didn't shower. I didn't talk to people. I didn't do anything because I knew I had to get done what I needed to get done. And I want to ask you, are you that focused? Are you that committed to get done what you need to get done? Because looking and constantly updating your Facebook or other online forums is killing your business. I'm going to be brutally honest right now. Are you on, how much of your day are you on Facebook? Or if you're constantly posting, if you're on Facebook every few minutes and you're constantly posting something on Facebook, really, how much are you getting done? If you're constantly checking Twitter or on Instagram or you're playing Candy Crush, honestly, how much can you get done if you're doing that? How much is it interrupting your time? What are you allowing to interrupt your time? Because, you know, you have to decide, what are you allowing to interrupt? And, you know, if you want to get things done, you've got to turn off your notifications. You've got to turn off your time. It's like a guy said that if he has a donut in his house, he can't focus because all he thinks about is that there's a donut in his house. I'm like that with a Butterfinger. If I know there's a Butterfinger in the house, I can't think about anything else until I eat the Butterfinger. So I never let a Butterfinger come in the house. Well, are you like that with Facebook? Because everyone has some form of productivity kryptonite, something that interrupts you and prevents you from performing at peak productivity. So just like Superman, you've got to shield yourself from these productivity killers so you can get done what must be done. So here is a question you need to carefully think about. What is your productivity kryptonite? You know, I worked with Donna Johnson. We all got, Donna and Phoebe and I and Bonnie Erickson, we all came into Arbonne at the same time. I learned a lot of things from Donna. When Donna would call me, she'd say, "Hi, Dina, it's Donna. I won't keep you long. Just have a couple of quick things to talk to you about." And she never stayed on the phone with me more than a couple of minutes. And if I started to make the conversation too long, she'd say, "Oh, Dina, I didn't mean to keep you. I won't keep you." And then boom, she was gone. And if she's on the phone with somebody who's going into, "Oh, my dog, peed on the carpet, all my things canceled," she go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. What can I help you with your Arbonne business today?" She gets people back on task. She changes their state of emotion. She changes things. She is in control of the situation. I learned a lot of things from her. She keeps things focused. She doesn't lose her focus. There's a reason she's at the top of the company. So what is your kryptonite? What is it? You need to limit yourself to a half an hour every day that you're going to get online. And you need to ask yourself, am I spending more time than that? Install software on your computer that blocks Facebook unless you enter a password. This is going to help you get out of the electronic OCD loop where you do something without even thinking about it. Unplug your internet connection when you're working on your priority. Ask yourself, what is driving me? Does it really motivate me to stay on track? Because until you gain clarity on the issue, you're going to keep falling back into looking at Pinterest. You know, I had never gotten on Pinterest. I am a cooking freak. I love to cook. Yesterday, I made a Mario Batali lasagna for my family, for my husband's birthday. And I made an incredible chocolate cake. I like to look at Facebook. You know, I only allow, I'm not Facebook, but Pinterest. I do not allow myself to look at Pinterest until it's 10:30 at night. That's the only time I allow myself to look at Pinterest, because then it's unproductive time and I use it as a reward for myself if I've had a productive day. So I really want you to ask yourself the tough questions right now. So while we've been talking tonight, while you've been on this call, have you been checking other things? Have you been looking at your phone? What is your kryptonite? All right. It's a Candy Crush. Woo! So many women are addicted to Candy Crush. So ask yourself those tough questions. So limit yourself to a half an hour online each day. So number 2, have a personal success ritual. That's what successful, unbelievably successful people do. Robin Sharma calls it the holy hour. Get up an hour earlier Get to work an hour earlier if you work, and have that holy hour for yourself where you spend 20 minutes reading and learning, 20 minutes exercising, and 20 minutes journaling, having a gratitude list, and planning your day. Don't allow email, phone calls, or anything else to interrupt this time for you to think and plan. Because let me ask you a question. Do you function most in a reactive or proactive mode? Because in my experience, most business people don't take the time to plan and take action because all of their time is consumed by reacting to the business they've already built. So now do you react to the business you've already built? Because to build your business, you need to be in primarily proactive mode. Time management is crucial. So one of the best ways to stay in that proactive way is to have that holy hour and plan your day. So have that personal success ritual each morning. It's when you plan. You're in intentional creation for your day. Okay, and here's number 3, stop trying to multitask. Because the truth is we can't do 2 things at once. It's been proven. Neurologically speaking, we only have one brain. We cannot do 2 things at once. Don't get sucked into the lie that you're good at multitasking. You're not. Whoops, let me see. Somebody has their line open, and we can hear you. So please mute yourself by any chance if you've not been muted out. So stop trying to believe that you can multitask. And if you believe in the lie that you're good at multitasking, you're not. So if you really believe that you're paying attention to your kids while you're multitasking, you're not. If you really believe that you can have a conversation with somebody about Arbonne while you're checking your text, you're not. So stop trying to multitask because you really can't do it. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 is schedule and focus your time in uninterrupted. And I don't know about if you're working full-time, if you're working part-time, or if you're home where you're more of a stay-at-home, mom or dad. But you really want to have that uninterrupted blocks of time. You want to chunk your time. So you want to work your time in those blocks of time. So if you're working full-time, then you still want to do it in those 20 to 90-minute blocks of time where you're chunking your time and really planning it out. Because when you have those uninterrupted blocks of time, it's amazing. We all have that circadian rhythms in our body. Whether you're a morning person or a night person. I'm definitely a morning person. I'm not as good at night. So when you have those times in your life when you're good, that's when you want to have your 60 to 90 minutes of uninterrupted time. That's when you want to be doing your income producing activities. That's when you want to be talking to people. That's when you really want to be doing income producing activities. Now, when it's your slow, lazy kind of time when you're not as good, that's when you want to go on Facebook and answer messages and answer texts. That's when you want to do those kind of activities, not during your prime circadian rhythm time when you're at your very, very best. So you want to have those blocks of time. They're called power hours, and they're brilliant. And when you learn to use those, you're going to be so much more effective. But you've got to turn off your phone, turn off your notifications during that time, so you're using that time to only have outgoing calls, outgoing texts, outgoing messages, so that you're not getting interrupted by messages and texts and things coming into you. You want to be able to plan. Remember, you're proactive and not reactive. So you've got to use this time to your very best. Then you want to have a start time and an end time. Because when you have a start time and an end time, that's when you don't get into being where you're constantly, you're not living in procrastination. So I have a start time and an end time when you're chunking your time. Because focus and determination beats brains and intellect every time. And I want to tell you a quick story about this. This man went to Home Depot and he kept trying to find some kind of a way to keep the squirrels out of his bird feeders. And he kept going back to Home Depot, and he was talking to the guy at Home Depot, and he goes, "How long have you been trying to do this for?" And he goes, "For 2 weeks." And he goes, "And how long have you been spending on this?" And he goes, "Well, gosh, at least 15 minutes a day." He goes, "Well, let me tell you." He said, squirrels are the only animal that they spend 98% of their day trying to eat. So they're looking for food, foraging for food, 98% of their time. They actually spend more time looking for food than they do on procreation, and they're the only animal that does that. So he said, your 15 minutes a day, they're going to beat you every single time. So focus and determination beats brains and intellect. So doing the right thing at the right time will give you exceptional results. So number 5 is use a countdown clock or a timer to stay on task. So if you can only spend 20 minutes and you've got to spend those 20 minutes and you only have that 20 minutes, use a timer. Use a timer on your watch. Use a good old-fashioned timer on your desk and say, you know what, I've got a schedule right now. I've got to spend 20 minutes scheduling. So use that timer to keep you on task, because you've got to be productive in that time, that chunking that time. You've got to be productive. So think on paper and make sure that your daily activities are tied to your goals. And use a timer to help you stay on task. Now, I want you to focus on your top 3 priorities. So you're asking yourself, well, Dina, what are my top 3 priorities? Well, they're fluid. And it depends on what you need and where you're at in your business today. So let's just talk about it for a minute. You know, you got to think about what are the 6 things that I need to get done, because, and I'm going to come back to this page back in a minute, but right now, here's you. And you, the most important thing, if you truly want to go somewhere and be a leader in Arbonne, is you want width. In our business plan, it's all about the width. Because in our plan, you can go as wide as you want. There is no limit to how wide you can be in Arbonne. And every time you put in a new leg, you get paid more. But you want to be at least 12 wide in district managers. Because out of those 12 wide in district managers, you're going to shake out And you will find out of those 12 wide of district managers, you will have 8 of them who will at least become an area manager. And the absolute key thing in our business is that you want to be at least 8 wide in area managers. Because if you're 8 wide in area managers, you're going to have at least 6 of them who will want to become regional vice presidents. And out of those 6 of them that become regional vice presidents, 4 of them will want to go on and be a national vice president. And at 4 wide in national vice presidents, you really have no maintenance as a national vice president. So your whole focus from absolutely the minute you come into Arbonne is to get to district manager as fast as you can be. And then from that moment on, you want to draw out a chart like this with you, with 12 legs coming from you, with circles on the end of those legs. And off this half sunbeam, you want to fill the names in of every person that you get to district manager. And you want to put their name in the circle. And that is your absolute focus. And that's your first focus in Arbonne. Because you want to ask yourself, what are the top 6 things do I need to do today to start building in those names, to put those in those circles? Because what's the one thing that I can be doing today that would have the biggest impact on me to get to district manager or area manager or regional vice president? What is that one thing? There is a brilliant book out right now called The One Thing. So that's the question that you got to ask yourself. When you ask yourself that question, you're going to come up with answers. What is the one thing that I can do today to find my next consultant? What is the one thing that I can do today to fill my calendar with 8 appointments? What is the one thing that I can do today to sponsor my next district manager? What is the one thing I can do today to get myself to area manager? You've got to ask yourself the question so that you are thinking about what are your top 3 priorities. So what are your top 3 priorities in your business today? If you don't have anything on your calendar, that is your first priority. Because you want to get Arbonne on 40 faces absolutely as fast as you possibly can. Your next priority is to absolutely every single month have 2,500 new and you volume. And you want to sponsor 2 to 3 consultants every single month. Because you know that out of 2 to 3 people that you personally sponsor who want to be a consultant, that one of them you can successfully launch who will want to go on to be a district manager. But you got to let the numbers be in your favor. Work in your favor. So all the people that I've helped in my downline through the years will always see me and go, Dina, I'm 9 wide in districts, or I'm 12 wide in districts, because they know that that has always been my focus, is helping you become wide in Arbonne. So ask yourself, what am I doing today to build my business? What are my top 3 priorities that I'm working on right now to build my business? Are your thoughts focused on who you need to be and how you need to act to get what you want? Are you taking the time to plan so you can focus and execute on your most important priority of each day? Focus on what you want. Because when you focus on your top three priorities, you can have your Arvon's dreams come true. I can promise you, because I can tell you the times I was focused in my business was the times that I did extraordinary things. And when I lost my focus is when my business building slowed down and came to a stop. And when I regained my focus is when my business got on track again. So I want to share with you tonight that I want to challenge you to limit the distractions both externally and internally in your life so you can have 2016 be your best year yet. So thanks, you guys. I would love to open the line, but I'm going to open the lines, and if everyone would just mute your line right now. And I would love, if you want to have any questions or comments for me right now, I would love to hear from you. Woo! I don't think you do that. It's kind of loud, but if you have any comments or questions, kind of loud. We might have
Lynn, can you hear me?
Thanks, you guys, for joining me. We have such a big call tonight that I might not be able to open up the line. But thanks, you guys, for joining me. Have the rest of a fantastic night and a great close to January. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your evening and a great close. Thanks, everybody. Good night.